Hello, Music Multiverse listeners. Welcome to Beyond Your Radio. Again, welcome to a special holiday show here. It's hard to buy for someone else, like someone like me, even harder, right? Let's put you in the mindset of a brand new music listener, someone who wants to start those collections. And when a new listener, appreciator, a newborn collector is all excited about albums and stuff, we kind of get all jazzed up and we want to go buy them stuff and go out and purchase those must haves and those albums everyone talks about. Yeah, they're great, but it's predictable. Why not throw them that Grinch like snowball curveball? Think giving them something they're expecting, a classic album, but instead you give them something else, an album to hear before you're horribly mangled in a sled accident. Here are my 12 album picks this year that go against those must haves, which I'm not saying they shouldn't have. I'm just saying maybe this might be a wow factor for them that they can talk about to other people that they have and how it connects to the albums of these must haves. So I'm going to kick it off with my number 12. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Ennio Morricone. Yeah, sure. That's a classic Ennio Morricone record. It exemplifies everything that he is as a composer. It is the godfather of desert sound, and of course, that iconic character wailing. But I say, don't get them that record. Get them Sonido Cosmico by Hernandez Gutierrez. All right. So if you want that taste and dry Spanish heritage, but you feel like it's, needs a little production that's more 21st century in the musicianship and hints of reverb that are not associated with a guy screaming out in the desert after being left by Blondie, this is the album to get at number 12. On the 11th album, everybody always talks about Portishead. Dummy. Yes, absolutely. Quintessentially the trip hop record that I would even argue to you that the orchestral arrangement album is even richer. But I say Things You Should Leave Alone from Puricane. Now, this one steps into the further bitterness and darkness too, but it has a little bit more edge. It's still that masterful trip hop meets alternative edginess, but not going into those places of duplication. And this is a record that they'll never have heard of, along with the prior, and that other people in that would not either. Might actually be a little hard to find, possibly, maybe not, But this is Puricane, Things You Should Leave Alone, in place of Dummy from Portishead. My number 10, we're border hopping in a way. Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA. Nebraska would be another one of those. I'm dealing here with just Born in the USA. A little fun, emotional rock pop record, right? Delivered with that iconic vocal, that swagger that Springsteen possesses in a common folk way, a common person, a layman, a blue collar worker, not a red collar. I say, don't give them that record. Give them Bryan Adams' Into the Fire. This is Canada's Rolling Thunder vocalist. And on this one, he's raw. He's speaking from the same region of what we have gone through and putting into the context of his realm. All kinds of similarities there. Heart-wrenching, go-for-it vocals, anthemic kind of album. Not the one you thought, though. And what's great about that record is it's not really available digitally. So to have it in format like this would be better, for them. And it's it'll fit in their collection and they'll understand why. All right, I'm going to go way back now. All right. Now, yes, I'm going to give you something that's got Elvis. Remember Elvis is back, right? That R&B. He was where he kind of put all that stuff. It's some R&B swagger, pop throwback, and even a great vibe in the recording process. And guess who's just like that? Nick Waterhouse. Time's all gone. It's like a time warp. And while it's not Elvis, it's the more of what Elvis was listening to, what was driving him, the careers and that he drew attention to, that are the heroes of Nick Waterhouse or the people that Nick Waterhouse sounds like, the Van Morrisons of the world, and others like that. But this is a great record for that. It's Time's All Gone by Nick Waterhouse. And I'd say get that instead of Elvis is Back. Also, I think that if it's a new record buyer, they're probably fairly, younger than the rest of us. Elvis might not be at the top of the list. But the more you hear of throwback, the more you start to want to go back. Think of what Amy Winehouse did, and others that came before her. Now I'm gonna get into an album that reigns supreme. No, not that one. This is Exile on Main Street, the Rolling Stones. Yeah, that's right. I'm saying don't give them that record. They'll get it. They probably heard some of it. Maybe, maybe not. It's not the Rolling Stone record that gets played over and over again. That's another record. But Exile on Main Street is one of the quintessentially greatest recorded albums of all time. Right up there with the Beatles' White Album, Tom Cochrane's Brave New World. Wow, I can't think of that. Anyway, Marshall Mathers by Eminem. This instead, Plastic Fang by the John Spencer Blues Explosion. Well, why am I saying here? Okay, we got a coveted record, and well, I hope it's a coveted record. Here's a raw, kind of eccentric let loose here in the seams of this. And it seems like it was recorded in a basement. We're not talking like this grandiose, all-in production kind of thing. This is really letting the artist like John Spencer and his guitar playing and his love of the blues be expressive. And bluesy close here with a reckless that screams the Rolling Stones. Definitely. So if you don't want to get him Exile on Main Street, get him Plastic Fang by the John Spencer Blues Explosion. John is spelled Jon, by the way. Should be able to get it. It's still a record of that most people would have in their stores. All right, number 7. Everyone talks about this industrial record. What do you think I'm going to say? The Downward Spiral. I have it. I'm still not an entire fan of the record. There are great parts of it. I get it. I get where it was in the placement of things. And sure enough, I could have gone with something that was a little bit more industrialized and closely connected with Reznor. But I decided not to. I'm Marilyn Manson. Instead, I went with Filter's title of record. It shares the Reznor vocal-rich tendencies, and no one screams like Patrick, not a soul. Now, this is a bit more accessible than the Downward Spiral because, as we all know, because the album is the Downward Spiral, it tends to downward spiral. And some of the ending of it is a little bit too much for that early listener, unless they are truly into industrial, which in that case, give them Skinny Puppy, give them Download, tons of places they can go there. But title of record is that kind of record. And Patrick was told by Reznor, you should do your own thing too. So he does have a connection to him. Next up, number 6, one of my favorite records of all time. I would give this record to a brand new listener, but again, I'm here saying, hey, throw him a curveball. Don't give him OK Computer by Radiohead. No. It's a prized possession in mine, but I'm going to say no. I'm going to tell you to give him Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots by the Flaming Lips. One of those albums that conjured the idea of not exactly conceptual, but pretty damn close. It's a layering and surprises, and it takes it's like a masterpiece, like Dark Side of the Moon is, and The Wall. But then there's the Flaming Lips, how they do things. It's modern tale, and it's such arc in the musical and the lyrical parts, which is why OK Computer works, and as does Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots. For number 5, I'm going to shed the gender. Okay. People will tell you in the Americana world, there are tons of great albums. Bob Dylan will be involved in those kind of things. But I'm going to tell you about one that we've talked about on this channel a couple of times, and that's Car Wheels on a Gravel Road, Lucinda Williams. Now, you can't go wrong with Lucinda Williams, Car Wheels on a Gravel Road. Definitely one of the top 50 Americana albums of all time. And I get it. I love it. I enjoy it. I like a lot of her stuff. Almost every single album. Her grit, that dusty, just pure. Well, this is gravel. I mean, that's her voice too, right? So it's a woman at the helm of the Americana, and the album is always in the top discussions. But I'm going to switch the gender here, and I'm going to switch to a male, and I'm going to go with A Sailor's Guide to Earth, because Sturgill Simpson is channeling that same blues, country compilation, Americana position, and serving it up in all format of shades. Even little Neil Diamond meets Waylon Jennings meets Hank Williams in the spirit of rasp, bluegrass. He's got a bluegrassian hold over him. There's no question. And that's one of the greatest parts about this guy. He has done other records too that are completely way off the different base on that. He's done a heavy rock record, which he took his own songs in and messed with them greatly. But this is, it's nearly possessing him invisibly, I think, which is, it's just eventually it kind of be, this album should be in the same position as Car Wheels on a Gravel Road. It's just a matter of time. At number 4, I almost gave it away a little bit. My number 4, jazz, a legend. All right, no, not Miles Davis, but Coltrane. John Coltrane, Love Supreme. It's the saxophone, and I stayed with the saxophone. But again, I switched gender. All right. I'm telling you to give this person somebody new, some a little bit more flavor, but in the same, I don't know how to explain it because I'm not a musician, but in the same tone, expressionism, and ability to envelop, all right, everything around. And this woman does it. Her saxophone playing is brilliant. Her compositions and the people that she manages to bring in with her to do the record. And this is The Source by Nubia Garcia. We've talked about her many times on this channel. I've done a meal to music to this record. It is one of the new modern saxophonists that maybe didn't get a lot of notoriety right away compared to male driven saxophone is there's a disparity there that needs a little something. But her musical inclusiveness embodies the Coltrane experience, but doesn't duplicate it. It's finding her own style in the world and sound that she chooses, and she chooses to bring in the entire world in this case. It's engaging in the ear in the same fashion the classical album. She probably worships that same album just like we do. At number 3, why not, right? Album number 3 from Led Zeppelin. Well, how the hell, Mark, could you go against damn Deb Armitage Chicks Maloney and say, don't give him Led Zeppelin 3. Give him Splendor Solace by the Tea Party. And why do I say that? Well, I'm still going to stick to my guns that the Tea Party of Canada is one of the greatest bands on the planet in progressive rock, classic rock, and one of the greatest live bands. They went slightly acoustic here Led Zeppelin did. Well, this is the debut record technically from the Tea Party in a way when the U.S., although they had a record kind of in between before it. This showcased the brilliance and the gusto of Zeppelin. All right, in 3. So, you didn't know Jimmy Page could play like the acoustic guitar and do those kind of things. You just thought maybe they were that kind of band, right? But here we are, paying a little bit closer attention. So the Tea Party is the closest thing you will ever come to the might and majesty of Led Zeppelin. And in this case, I give you the debut, which showcases that Jeff Martin's skill set in the particular position of guitar, of acoustic, and even electric. Um, might not acknowledge this, but I think his guitar playing has surpassed Jimmy Page. He's also, I think, friends with him too. He's also friends with Ian Anderson and other players in this whole big scheme of things. But if you get this album and give this to somebody who is a new music listener and put this in their collection, tell them, I didn't give you Led Zeppelin 3. I gave you this record to ponder. They're going to realize between The Sun's Going Down and Save Me that their epic quality, along with the acoustical positions of melodies and medleys inside, that this is a bit more psych for sure, but goddamn, where they were headed, because where they headed next is Edges of Twilight and winning the praises and friends that travel in those same circles that I just mentioned. Not to mention, Jeff Martin sounds incredibly close to Morrison of the Doors. So you get the Doors and Led Zeppelin. So Splendor Solace from the Tea Party. My number two, it's one of those soul albums that emotional wallop, right? Not only that, it's catchy, it's groovy, but I'm gonna genre switch again. Marvin Gaye, What's Going On? And we all know what's going on there. The color lines, that importance of things back in that time. Well, I'm going to change you over to Tracy Chapman, but I'm going to say don't give the debut record. That's kind of easy. I mean, that does fit too. I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to say you'd be wrong there, but go with Crossroads. This is where she's an obvious choice in that it's polished a little bit better. The statements are stronger a little bit, and the R&B position is much more like what's going on. The growth, the maturity, it's impactful, and every single song has just the whole mindset of a sophomore record. I'm not saying Crossroads is better than Tracy Chapman's debut. They're very, very close in that proximity. So it's up to you which one you choose. I chose Crossroads instead of What's Going On. Number one, I got to blow your mind. I gotta say, don't give this record. All right, give this record, right? And this is a record that, one of the most important records of all time, according to lots and lots and lots of people. One of the most contrarian albums against progressive rock's generation, against metal lovers. This came in and destroyed the very fabric of the music multiverse, according to most people. I don't subscribe to that point of view because it would be such an ignorant thing to do. Oh, shut up, Sting. Grunge comes in, and this, of course, is Nevermind by Nirvana. Don't give them that record. Give them Throwing Copper by Live instead. We know that record, but what you should get for your new music collector, besides Soundgarden's obvious Super Unknown, which I believe is the greatest record in that vein of all time, give them Live Throwing Copper. Ed Kowalczyk and the York, Pennsylvania boys here have a signature grunge alternative anthem position. Incredible songwriting on I think it's 22 songs on the record, somewhere around there. Maybe I'm a little long on that. I should probably just grab it and find out. Excuse me, Grinch. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 tracks. Why did I think 22? 17 tracks. Lives Throwing Copper, which I believe is the second greatest grunge alternative record ever made. Yeah, I put it ahead of Pearl Jam's 10. I want you to realize that Nirvana never had a number one single on the album chart for any length of time that I'm aware of. Live didn't even release a single, this particular single, and it was on Modern for 10 weeks at number one, and the another, not Billboard, but another one for 9 weeks. And that, of course, is Lightning Crashes. Ed Kowalczyk's voice is outstanding. It's one of a kind in a way. It's just, besides Collective Soul, Creed, and Days of the New, there is no other single in that era that stood longer on those modern album charts than 9 weeks and 10 weeks. Even Soundgarden's Black Hole Sun did not. It's got crossover power on this album, and you'll find something more engaging probably than you will on Nevermind, because the vocal is amazing, the songwriting, and how it's both mythical and it has angered moments, it has passionate moments, and it is my estimation that TBD, the one song, is one of my favorite songs of all time. Although it has very little in the of lyrics, it's impactful, and the way it builds until the end is amazing. And it is one of those live performance, and that's why they're named live, that is unforgettable. Listen, I want to thank you for indulging me in these 12 holiday gift albums. Sure, you can give them the standards that I gave, but I'm just saying, why not surprise them? Why not give them a little something, something? Or maybe you have a music aficionado in your midst and you're thinking about getting him something. Maybe I mentioned one here that you're not quite sure whether they might have or realized was as good as I say it is. I'll stand by any of these records as I stand by those that are essential. Give me your 12. It's a lot of fun, right? Maybe you could do something like this too. I plan on doing this every year, but it's the first time around. So let me know your thoughts and your lists. Of course, one man's compost heap is another man's potpourri. We're on the web at beyondyourradio.com, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, YouTube, of course. Articles, videos, podcasts, that'll be coming next year. All about albums, bands, artists, anything we can get our hands on. Hopefully you can get your hands on whatever you need at the holidays. Go Beyond Your Radio with us, a real music appreciation channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next top 25 albums of 25. Happy listening.